The frozen wasteland of Vex 7 had claimed more human lives than any war in the galaxy's history. Lyra knew this as she stumbled through the howling blizzard, her environmental suit's failing heating system beeping warnings into her frostbitten ears. The colony ship had crashed 3 days ago, scattering survivors across this unforgiving ice world. She was alone now, the last of her rescue team, trudging toward what her scanner indicated might be shelter. Then she heard it, a sound that shouldn't exist on this alien planet. A whimper, high-pitched, desperate, unmistakably young. Lyra's training screamed at her to keep moving. Her suit had maybe 2 hours of power left. The storm was intensifying. Every step away from her intended path reduced her survival chances exponentially. But she had been a xenobiologist before the crash, and that sound triggered something deeper than self-preservation. It triggered curiosity, compassion, and that peculiarly human instinct to help the helpless, even when logic demanded otherwise. She found the cub wedged between two ice formations, its silver-white fur matted with frozen blood. The creature was no larger than a terrier, with oversized paws and eyes that glowed an ethereal blue in the storm's darkness. It looked like a wolf, Earth's ancient predator, but this was no Earth creature. Its 6 legs trembled as it tried to crawl deeper into the crevice, away from her. "Easy," Lyra whispered, her voice crackling through her helmet's damaged speaker. "I'm not going to hurt you." The cub, she decided to call him Fun, after the marshlands of old Earth, snarled weakly, baring needle-sharp teeth. But those glowing eyes held no real aggression, only fear and pain. A massive gash ran along his side, likely from whatever predator had separated him from his pack. Lyra's suit beeped another warning. 1 hour, 40 minutes. She could have walked away. Should have walked away. The human colony needed every survivor. Her knowledge of xenobiology could help them understand this world, adapt to it, survive it. One alien cub, no matter how pitiful, wasn't worth a trained scientist's life. But Lyra had never been good at the cold calculations of survival. That's what her commander had always said. Too much heart, not enough head. She removed her thermal glove, immediately regretting it as the -60 cold bit into her fingers, and extended her bare hand toward Fun. The cub snapped at her, teeth grazing her skin, but Lyra didn't flinch. Slowly, carefully, she let him smell her, let him see she meant no harm. "We're both far from home," she told him softly. "We're both scared, but we don't have to die alone." Something shifted in those blue eyes. Understanding? Recognition? Whatever it was, Finn stopped resisting when Lyra gently scooped him into her arms and pressed him against her chest, wrapping what remained of her suit's thermal lining around his small body. 1 hour, 15 minutes. Carrying the cub slowed her down considerably. Her muscles screamed with exhaustion, her lungs burned with each breath of recycled air, and her vision blurred from dehydration and hypothermia. But Fawn's warmth against her chest, that tiny heartbeat fighting for life, kept her moving. She didn't know where she was going anymore. The storm had disoriented her completely. Her scanner had died. She just walked, one foot in front of the other, shielding Fun with her body. 45 minutes. Lyra fell for the first time when her legs simply gave out. She managed to twist as she hit the ice, protecting Fun from the impact. The cub licked her face through the cracked visor, those blue eyes wide with what looked like concern. "I'm okay," she lied, struggling back to her feet. 20 minutes. The second fall was harder. This time, Lyra didn't think she could get up. The cold was inside her now, making her thoughts slow and fuzzy. Fun whimpered and squirmed in her weakening grip, and she realized with distant horror that she might have saved him from one death only to deliver him to another. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her eyes closing. "I tried." 5 minutes. Lyra didn't hear the thunder of paws across ice. Didn't see the massive shapes emerging from the storm like living shadows. Didn't feel the moment her suit's power finally died and the cold rushed in to claim her. But Finn felt his father arrive. The Alpha King was a creature of legend even among his own kind. 15 feet tall at the shoulder, fur like liquid silver, eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 hunts. He had been searching for his lost son for 3 cycles, and his pack had covered hundreds of miles in the storm. Now he stood over the fallen human, his massive head lowered to sniff at the tiny bundle she clutched even in unconsciousness. Finn squirmed free and stumbled to his father, yipping and whining, telling his story in a language of scent and sound. The Alpha King understood. This soft, fragile creature, this human, had given everything to save his son, had walked into death itself rather than leave a helpless pup to freeze alone in all his long life. The Alpha King had known only one law: the strong survive, the weak perish. It was the way of Vex 7, harsh and absolute. But here was a paradox: a weak creature doing something strong. A dying thing choosing sacrifice over survival. It was the most human thing in the universe. The Alpha King made his decision. He carefully, almost gently, lifted Lyra's limp form in his massive jaws, cradling her broken body as she had cradled his son. His pack formed a protective circle, their combined body heat creating a pocket of warmth in the storm. As they carried her toward their den deep beneath the ice, where ancient geothermal vents kept the caves warm and breathable. The Alpha King wondered if perhaps the humans were not the weak invaders he had thought them to be. Perhaps they were something far more dangerous. Beings whose strength came not from fang or claw, but from that incomprehensible willingness to die for another. And when Lyra woke 3 days later in a warm cave, alive against all probability, with Finn curled up beside her and the Alpha King standing watch at the entrance, she would learn that humanity had made its first true ally on Vex 7. Not through weapons or diplomacy, but through one simple act that defined her species. She had cared when it was easier not to. She had helped when it would have been safer to walk away. She had been, in every sense, gloriously and foolishly human, and in the end, that had made all the difference.